not a drill, this is not a drill. All warriors, mount up. Proceed to nav point Gamma. Rendezvous with Mobile HQ for tactical and situational analysis. Welcome to the MHQ Podcast.
Hey everybody, Jose, Bradley, Ronald, and Randall are here, and this is our second episode on Special Command abilities. Last episode we finished on False Flag, and Bradley, our first one today is Fast Withdrawal.
Ooh, when you absolutely got to get out of the battlefield in a type of scenario where you're playing as a campaign, this one comes into your Fast Withdrawal. The rules state clearly: unit in this force may exit via any edge on the map, save the opponent's home edge at any time, including during forced withdrawal, without being considered destroyed or captured, regardless of rules of scenario. This right here allows you to get units off the board that don't need to be there no more.
So, question: we were doing a system of 1 and 2s. Mm-hmm. What would you say this is?
This is 1.
To me, it sounds like a 1.
It is, because 1, it's not offensive; it's a defensive thing, and it's an individual thing. Like if a unit gets hit and it's in a portion where it needs to be for a forced withdrawal, then this rule would apply only as a 1 to my book. If somebody wants to say it's a 2, I'm like, okay, how does this affect the whole force? Yes, the whole force has the ability, but it doesn't come into play unless it's an individual unit. And that individual unit is withdrawing off the battlefield. So this is a 1, clearly, hands down.
And probably not usable for a tournament.
Well, yeah, tournament-wise. Tournaments, it would not be in a tournament because we don't, unless you had tournament rules that say you're dealing with withdrawals, then this would come into play. But as in a campaign setting, I almost would, if you're worried about keeping units from being destroyed and you're not one of those that like makes that last stand and you want to get units off the table without being penalized, this is a good one. So it's a 1 in my book.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and also get the second one started, so these are small. Flankers. Who's next?
When a scenario calls for a forces unit to enter via a map edge, the units may enter via any non-home map edge. This one, I'm going to have to say, is a one that deals only strictly with a company level force. You can't have a whole battalion being flankers. This is definitely one of those ones that is a one pointer.
Max company.
Correct.
Yeah.
This should be only for a max of a company at all. Maybe even down to a lance. This is something that I was in discussion earlier with about these command skills that, some of the things that Catalyst Game Lab should have done was allocate a system, and that's the reason why our podcast is doing this, to help players understand these command skills, because they don't even offer any type of what's the word? Like a demo of words, like a breakdown of how the rule actually plays out on the table. So This one here, I feel, is definitely one that is a 1-pointer because it can only affect a company.
Well, this could, so by the rules as written, there is no restriction on how big it can be.
Correct.
It should, and this is one of my complaints about the command ability format. They don't specify standards per se. So this is great if you're a GM. You're a GM who says, "Here's the scenario, blah 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 blah," and this lance of your force has flankers ability. Nobody else in your group has it. Great. That gives you this extra cool little ability that you can use at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, they didn't give you a system that you can use this in a tournament type of format.
I see what you mean. They really didn't flesh it out like they could have.
Right.
To make it more easy to understand.
Your objective is to take out the command bunker that's on the opposing player's team. I have a command ability, or I can choose my command ability. Well, I'm choosing flankers, so I can ambush you and take it out in round 1.
Yeah, exactly. Left the front door open for this one.
Yeah. My entire force. Next.
Wait, well, hold on, real quick thing on that. Would you say that this would also, in a sense, would need the same as False Flag? You would need the off-map movement? Or is it just turn 1, you just come in off of whatever side?
See, it says when scenario calls for a force unit to enter a map. That means turn 1. This isn't turn 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. It's coming in on turn 1. So that means you could turn around and set with almost. It's ridiculous. Almost. Why would you a force to get chomped so hard closer to your opponent's home edge than where those forces couldn't get it?
Right, but I'm looking at this as a campaign play, like you're saying. It's not for anything like that. For scenario calls, you can set a scenario up because I've built scenarios where a force comes in later in the turn. So you can say, like, turn 3, you got a flanking unit coming in. So that would be where the flanker command ability would come in.
You're not at fault, Ron, for seeing it that way because it
says when scenario calls for force units to enter via map edge. So it would be in a campaign play, but at the same time, it's that whole confusing. It's not written out well as well.
I agree.
Because it could be pulled. Well, I got flankers, so I'm going to hold them until round 3 when your units have moved off. And like you said, that bunker in the back now is exposed because you got your mechs up a little bit to defend a little bit, and all of a sudden a flanking behind comes in. That's what I'm saying. It would be better maybe if this one had off map movement command as well. That would be needed.
I agree. In a nutshell, it is flankers is false flag. In all retrospects, when you look at the capability tactically, being able to have your force come in anywhere on the map. It doesn't say on opponent side. It doesn't say on opposition side. It just says consider via a map edge. Map edge is four squares, period.
Unless you're playing on a hexagonal table.
Well, then you're dealing with 6. But this one again, this is one that I feel should be allocated to a company level force. I mean, I agree. It's a one pointer as far as that, And again, to re-energize from our last episode, what I say something is a 1 or 2, that means that it implies to a 1 point value means that it only affects a company. A 0.2 means it affects your whole entire force. So that's why we're trying to cover these, because I think players truly don't understand how to effectively play these without it being overpowerful, as we have play tested our own selves and used some of these things, and it has shown to be very powerful. But flankers in my book is a 1 because it's company allocated.
Yeah. Who wants to take focus? Because this one's funny.
Oh, yeah,
all right, I'll take focus. Focus, parentheses, special pilot ability name here. Okay. During sub, force may assign 1 unit out of every 4 units rounded down. The special pilot ability listed in parentheses, aka whatever you want to put in there. This special command ability may be taken a second time to give twice the number of SPAs, but only 1 SPA can be given by this special command ability per unit. If the command ability has two different SPAs, the command ability, it cannot give both SPAs to the same unit.
I will tell you right now, Jose just played a game where I practice test this unit. And Jose, what was it like having those 3 Marauders on that hill?
Oh, good God. Yeah. No comment.
Let's clarify this, because by the way it's written, one of the things that is missing from this is that you have to choose a special pilot ability.
Yep.
So the first time I read this, I was like, wait, what special pilot ability? Is there a list, or are we just doing any special pilot? So I was a little confused on it, but they missed that introduction.
I mean, when I read this and I chose to use this, I was like, to me it sounds like I can pick whatever I want. And with this right here, this is a very powerful one because it allows you to go, well, according to how it's written, 1 in 4 of my units has this ability. I feel like this one is a 2. If you choose to have focus, you know what? I can't see why a commander of a battalion says, all right, I want every company to master long-range fighting abilities. It's what we did in the Army. You can do that. So I feel like this one's a 2. So, but trying to pick which SPA skill to go with this really is what you as a player want to have on the table.
Yeah, sniper's a good one.
That's my complaint on the way it was
That's
written.
what I used against Jose. I turn on a assigned focus and I put sniper, and it made my range modifiers go from 4 to 2. It was standing still, long range, skill 3. I was needing 5s to hit him, and Jose was going, how? And I was like, well, I'm a 3. I stand still. That's 2. Long range is 2, so there's 4. Your 1 is 5. Guess what? Getting smacked. And it's one that I'm glad that I chose to see if it was going to be very powerful as a company level or as a battalion level, and I chose to only apply it as a company. And
I'll tell you right now, that's a powerful one.
Yeah, it is.
That
and
is a powerful one, because I know it's only 1 per lance or per 4 units in your force. But I mean, if you give, let's say you have 3 companies, so that's a potential
9.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 with long range master or medium range master. That's murder.
But it's a training. It is one that I feel can be allocated to be a 2, because I can see the logic in it being that. Now, is it very powerful? Yes. But if a player comes in and says, I'm doing focus, and that's the only command skill they got, well, now they're leaving themselves open to, well, what other tactics can the player across the table come up with? At that point, it's really, when using these command skills, me and Randall figured out a long time ago, it was really a check and balance of, did you pick the right type of command skills versus my command skills? Some interact with others very well and some don't. And this one right here, it just affects the gunnery skill in a few units. And my tactical advice for this is, when you identify which units has this ability, whack them hard. Kill them quick.
Get the fly swatter out.
One of the other points on this is that it doesn't decide which special pilot ability you're choosing. So is it lucky 1 or is it lucky 4? What you choose.
Well, according to the rules on, let's cover that real quick, Randall. Lucky is considered by all retrospects to be either for 1 point of SPA skill, you can get 2 lucky.
Right.
So that right there should tell you that if I choose focus, and I mean, it really, honestly, the key thing is the weakness of this rule, and what Cavalry Team should have done was, you may have focus, special pilot, but only with a point value of 4 or less. I mean, you could put focus and have everybody out there being, what is the worst one? Sharpshooter. that one right there would be 9 sharpshooters in a game. If any one of those 9 minutes hits a unit with a margin of 3 or better, they're getting a free crit check.
Yeah, that's pretty powerful.
Exactly. That's why I say this one is a 2. Even if you put it for a company level force, all right? That's still 3 units in my company, and Jose dealt with it, and it was murder. It was murder. I was like, Jose watched me form the center with the Marauders, and he saw them on the hill, and he was like, And then turn 1, dude.
Marauders. Boom. You know, Bradley, I'm used to seeing Marauders come into the fight, and when they stayed on that hill, I'm going, oh shit, what's he got?
Yep.
Not moving. Why aren't they moving? I'm scared.
That's why your Bucktucker should have went, fire at those.
See, but Jose also had support deck cards. He could have laid some artillery rounds on top of that hill to make me move or take damage, but I don't think I would have moved anyways, because they were it literally, the way the battlefield played out, I could put fire with those Marauders, that lance, either left or right or center. They were in the perfect spot. I would not give up that location. It was my center anchor, and I was able to concentrate maneuvering my left wheel or my right wheel, and it was just, it's hard. But when a player knows how to use this one, this is a really good one. But I feel like it deserves the respect of what it's for. It's a 2. Do you guys disagree?
No, I don't disagree. It's definitely a 2.
So it certainly can be a 2, and I agree. From a completely wide open, you don't have any restriction type of scenario. Now, in a scenario that is pre-written, I would say, okay, well, it's a pre-written scenario, so it could be a 1. because you could get something like Lucky 2s, Float Like a Butterfly 2. It's not that big of a deal, but it's enough that it gives you a little bonus.
Mm-hmm.
So
Now, Bradley,
Yes.
Bradley, I have a question, because the way I'm reading it this here, if the combat command has 2 different SPA combat abilities, it cannot give both SPAs to the same unit. The way some of the command abilities for the lances come up, some will even give you multiple choices of what you can give units, but it's all usually just 2 out of the 4 that can get it. You can actually use this to add, let's say, sniper to a lance that has, let's say you got like me, a flashman and 2 LRM carriers, and I give my LRM carriers to just move a little faster, the SPA skill that allows them to move 2 inches more.
Speed Demon.
Okay, yeah, Speed Demon. I can give the Flashman Sniper, or something like that, and give them the opportunity to do a bit more damage. And because they're on different units, they would work.
No, see,
Because the way this is,
the way I read this, and it says it in the heading, it says Focus Special Pilot Ability Name, meaning that this command, like I said, the Mech Battalion is taught to shoot at extreme range and be all snipers, or they're sharpshooters. If you wanted to be force march, be able to move faster, then that commanding officer is going to teach them to where they have Speed Demon ability. You know, I mean,
Now you could take focus twice, though. It does say you can do that. So one could be focus Speed Demon, one focus Sniper.
see, again, this one also leaves that door of possibility. It's how you interpret it.
It says you can take it twice.
Yep.
So with the rule set that we're going with, it'd be a 2. You can only take it 1 time, and that would be your command ability, though.
Yep. That's why I say it's a 2. It fits that way. Good point, Ron.
Yeah, we're hanging too much on this. Let's go to the next one. I'm forcing the initiative.
There you go.
Yeah.
You take over on that since you want to force the initiative.
You want me to force the initiative? All right, I'll force the initiative. Force initiative is a command ability that often favors during offensive missions. It relies on aggressive tactics and rapid assault that combines to provoke fear and hesitation in the enemy through sheer brute force. With this ability, the commanding player applies a modifier to his or initiative roll equal to the number of opposing units his force has destroyed in the previous turn, minus the number of units his own unit has lost to enemy fire. For example, if a force with the ability destroyed 6 enemy mechs in the previous turn but lost 3 of its own, the initiative modifier would be 3+. 6 minus 3 equals 3. Duh. Only the kill made during the previous turn may be applied towards this initiative modifier. Kills and losses made 2 or more turns in the past will not apply. As with banking initiative, using this ability requires the commanding player to declare his intent to do so before the dice are rolled for initiative. This ability cannot be used in the first turn of the scenario. Well, yeah, because nothing's been shot down yet.
yeah.
Anyways, this is pretty powerful too. If it's a good round for you.
Yeah, it definitely is.
And I would
that's
say
the gamble.
this is a gamble. That's why I'm going to
a
call it a
gamble.
1.
Yeah, this is a 1 in my book. It's an initiative modifier. It's not like it changes your gunnery skills across the board, or even with a company. It just changes who goes first. So it is a 1. So that you definitely got it in my book.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
what's that? The critical deterioration or whatever. At that point, that would be this where it plays in a lot
Mm-hmm.
when stuff starts falling.
Yep.
As far as your force build, this would apply to units that have a lot of mobility, so high TMMs, and or heavy and assault unit, things that have lots of meat and punch. I wouldn't put it for anything that had a bunch of mediums or infantry or something squishy.
Yeah, it's the overall force though, because it's basically an ability for the player, not the force.
Right.
So it's not going to change your force dynamics any. It's just going to give you a bonus to initiative, which can be a boost, but you've got to have the right amount of mechs because it only takes effect if you have a positive number. It would be nasty though if you lost it though.
Ooh.
If your opponent opponent took more kills that round and it gave you a -2 on your initiative. Ooh, that'd be nasty.
Oh yeah, that is definitely there.
So I think this one's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I don't have much to talk about on that one. My only complaint with this is that there's more math.
Yeah, combat math.
Yeah,
you struggle enough with it as is.
+3 from the battlefield intelligence, and I get all my units that are destroyed. Yes.
Guys, please. We all have calculators on our phones. Next.
I can't even do that.
I still have my calculator watch from 1984. What are you talking about?
All you guys got to do is just listen to me. I got you.
Yeah, I got a calculator on my iWatch, so I can do that too.
Next up, right?
Yep,
all right, ground attack specialists. The ground attack specialist command ability is available only to aerospace units or other units that use airborne movements, such as poles and wedgie ground vehicles. The opposite of anti-air specialists, these units have honed their skills to deliver effective attacks against ground-based opponents. Once again, this is uncommon for the entire airspace force to possess this ability. The players are advised to limit this capability to a predetermined portion of their deployed aerospace force. Okay, now we get to the meat of what it actually does. Ground attacks specialists receive a -2 target number modifier to all attacks made against ground-based targets, including units that use jumping movement and air-capable units that are landed at the time of the attack. Against airborne aerospace units, including ground units with pole or wedgie movement types, this target number modifier becomes +1 instead. Okay, I'm confused by that. Why do we have two different against airborne aerospace units, including ground units with the VTOL?
That's the thing. It starts off first in the beginning of the sentence. It says, air-capable units that are landed at the time of the attack against airborne units, including ground units with VTOL and movement types, this target modifier becomes a +1 instead. That means if they're on the ground, landed, then they're a +1 instead of the -2 to hit.
No, it's -2 if they're landed, that +1 if they're not.
Right, that's how I
ground
read
attack. It makes it easier. It's got to be a grounded unit. So if you are, my friend. So if a VTOL is landed on the field and another VTOL comes by and it has ground attack specialist, it can hit that other VTOL for -2. Now if it's up in the air, it gets a +1 because it's not on the ground.
Ground units incapable of VTOL, wedgie, or aerospace movement, thrust, may not make use ground attack specialist command ability.
Well, yeah, because they're not flying.
They're on the ground.
My legs! Anyways.
Ooh.
That one seems pretty straightforward, other than the confusion over the airborne aerospace unit. Yeah, that threw me around. Again, it's just the verbose of the paragraphs that makes me confused.
To me, this one is kind of like iffy, because if a person, you need to bring the proper vehicles in order to use it. And I have a couple of wedgies in my Carita. I definitely have VTOLs left and right. But unless I'm fighting a huge battle against Bradley, my 172 units aren't going to make the battlefield. So that's that, you know? So I
brought an entire company of VTOLs.
Only 4 of those boys are going to get that ability. Because this one, I feel, is a company level, because it tells you in the beginning it is advisable to limit this capability to predetermined portions of their deployed aerospace force. Meaning, not everybody's got this ability. It is going to be allocated to a particular land to be able to do this. These are the group guys that the rest of us in the company are going to be distractions. You 4 guys are the ones that are going to come in and plow the row. Jose, you dealt with this with those 4 warriors.
I did.
It was...
Yes, I did.
-2 to hit you, plus they had that ability from the Davian Lance ability for light fire support. And Jose was feeling it. Even though it was just 1 point, 1 point, 1 point, 1 point, it was a continuous bang, 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 bang. And you really don't want to stick your nose out, because anything that stuck its nose out in front of these 4 warriors is going to get pounced. Yeah. So having this at a limit is advisable very much. Or like when Randall played his game against me, he had a whole bunch of VTOLs. If he had every one of those as a ground attack, man, that's gonna suck for me. I'm gonna need buckets to catch all the lead thrown at me.
Okay.
Especially with those peregrines that did 3 points of damage.
Okay.
So we're calling this a 1, and it's limited to company only.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Next one, Highlander Burial. The units in a force with this ability receive
is that bagpipes? Do we hear bagpipes?
Yep,
bagpipes, anyone?
I have it on my
right.
phone. Let's not play it.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, let me start again. The units in a force with this ability receive a -1 target number modifier and deal an additional point of damage when making death from above attacks.
I never use Highlander.
I don't
know how to rule this one.
If they're not jumpers, yeah. I say a 1 because it's very rare that we even see death from above being tried in the game.
Classic, you would see that every day.
And with the death from above. Well, even with the death from above, you're taking damage also.
Yeah.
So, this is definitely a 1. There's too much of a negative to get a relatively minor benefit.
Thematically, it might seem like a great move. Reality, it sucks. Okay. Next, hit and run. At the start of any turn that a force with hit and run ability is outnumbered, its units can ignore the attacker movement modifier for jumping and receive a -1 attacker movement modifier if not standing still or immobile.
I'm gonna tell you right now.
Okay.
Yes. If somebody, like, for sake of argument, you have 1,000 PV game, you have many choices. You can choose to pick for 1,000 PV almost a full 16 mechs, or you can build 24 units. If you choose this command ability, that means your units are being taught how to fight when outnumbered. This, in my book, is a battalion that's been trained to act as a whole. Therefore, it is a 2 in my book.
2. Yeah, I can see what you're talking about. Okay.
But they have to be outnumbered first, though. That's the key right there.
Exactly.
So if you're playing an opponent that actually has equal number of force, sacrifice somebody. But again,
to be honest,
at the start of any turn, so that works.
Yeah. So, like I said, sacrifice somebody.
Lamb.
There's someone out there. And then, but the problem is, if they lose more than you, you're back of not being able to use it again because your force is bigger.
Here's the funny part, Ron. When I play Bradley, I usually lose my first couple units long before he uses the first.
Well, there you go.
So I can see me using this.
Just build a highly mobile force that's got jump, and there you go.
Yeah.
And just throw something out there that's like a 2 point, or actually, no, I think we got a limitation of more than 7 PV.
Yeah.
So we don't have the little stick on a crit. Savannah Masters.
Yeah, I'm thinking a jumping direwolf. You know, an entire star of jumping direwolves, you're good to go. That probably soaked up all of your PV, and you're outnumbered through most of the match.
There you go.
Or a Karita Order Lance. Or a Karita Order Lance with jumping Panthers.
Ord Lance?
I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Horrible match.
Horrible. Yeah, I know. But I have a lot of them. Literally, I can do a full company of Panthers.
All right. So are we good with it and run? Calling it a 2?
Yeah.
All right. Infantry defensive experts. Infantry units may be considered hidden even when the scenario rules do not specifically call for such. In a prepared position, consider these to be light buildings, construction factor 2, that do not require placement on the map and are gone once the unit moves. That's it. Thoughts?
Which one is this?
Wondering.
infantry defensive
Sorry,
experts.
I had to step away for a second. Okay, let's see.
Didn't see that. So basically, the infantry are considered hidden, even though it doesn't call for it in such scenario. They get a little position building, so they get a construction factor 2, and then basically, once the unit moves, they're gone. So they basically build little buildings that they hide in.
This kind of makes me think of what's that kid? The games kids that played at Fortnite.
Little wooden forts, yeah.
That's what they.
Yeah.
Unless the player is coming with nothing but infantry, this is the one.
Yeah.
I would
I
say
can
that's a half point.
Oh, I could.
I can see it being picked in our
Oh,
games.
you best believe I probably would try to figure a way to use this if I had my.
I'm sure you probably would. I can see it now.
In the woods,
You can
mofo,
see
get in there.
the infantry.
Going holes down. There you go. Ooh, that's.
Well, they're already, like I said, they're already getting buildings, so they're inside the building, so you got to shoot them out of a building. But the construction factor is a 2.
I know.
Right. So that would be like you dug a ditch, threw some plywood on top, and that's your quote unquote building. Right.
That's your,
Real estate agent,
that's your
anything
cover.
could be sold.
That's your structure. Yeah. Yeah.
But on the positive side, you got hidden units that could potentially be activated in the rear arc.
Yes.
Yeah.
On the negative side, it's construction factor 2. So anything, if you don't move, they're dying. It's that simple.
Yeah.
If they take an artillery, they're probably dying.
Yeah, because the building collapses on top of them. And
Yeah. Unless they're elementals. They at least got armor.
No, because even according to Alpha Strike rules, if a building collapses on top of a unit, it is destroyed.
Yep.
Doesn't matter what size it is.
So much for the
think I
books.
never go in
So much for the
buildings.
fiction. That's enough. Okay.
You can have an assault mech inside of a CF2 light building, and it collapses because it was a CF2 building, and the unit is destroyed by the rules. Doesn't make sense. On the game table, I'd be like, no, that's stupid. Let's keep going.
Take 2 points of
Take a
damage.
point of damage, shrug it off, soldier.
Push it off.
Yeah.
Fell in a little hole.
Yeah.
Called a ditch. I mean, it's called
Yeah.
oh God, what am I trying to think of the name of it? Is a basement. You don't have that here in Florida, gentlemen.
Yeah.
All right, what's the next one?
Okay.
You're talking about an indoor pool at that point.
Absolutely.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
There you go. Infantry dragoons. Mounted infantry may move their full movement instead of half after dismounting.
Rounded up to a minimum of 2 inches per hex. Is available
old
after.
book. That's old.
Yes, the old book. Yeah, that's the old book.
Yeah, we're looking at the new 7th edition. Don't.
Mounted
Okay.
infantry may move
But yeah, I
their
started on
full
this
movement
side, so I'm-
instead of half after dismounting. This is a 1.
Right, so they changed the one for the, because before it could be like if you're carrying elementals, they could still jump off at move 3. This one allows them to move their 6.
Reach out and touch somebody.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a fun one to have if you're a planner.
I agree.
Yeah. Now this is still a 1 because it's not unless you have a full battalion of elementals. I think this is a 1.
What is that? What?
I'm beginning to
not a battalion of
I want to
elemental.
call you described.
Okay.
Bro.
A galaxy. How's that? A full galaxy
What
of
you're looking for is
elementals. All right.
cluster.
How about a trinary of elementals? We'll go with that.
Okay,
Go
fine.
ahead to the next gentleman.
Yeah, that one's kind of fun. Infiltrators. Yes, let me actually enunciate my words. When fighting as the attacker, these commands are able to sneak forces close to or into the defender's deployment zone before the battle begins. Before the defender places units, the infiltrating units are deployed as a hidden unit in the defender's deployment zone, or if the defender enters via their home edge, the infiltrating unit must deploy within 4 inches of the defender's home edge. The type of unit depends on how many times the special command ability is chosen. 1 time, infantry and light vehicles and combat or support. 2 times, medium plus, or plus medium, size 2 vehicles, and then 3 times, heavy vehicles and medium size vehicles. Or
Medium
mechs.
mechs, yeah, okay.
Yeah. So yeah. If using the master unit list or other faction ability list for force building, the infiltrating units should be among those available to the defender's force.
Ooh.
For example, a Davion force infiltrating a Kurita force may use units from the general availability list or the Kurita availability.
Oh, snap.
Kinda
This opens a
interesting.
whole realm of, oh yeah, I gotcha.
Right? But it's got that. This is the thing. You got to take it multiple times to get the bigger stuff. Otherwise, it's
There
limited
you
to
go.
infantry or light vehicles only. You got to take it at least 2 times to get medium-sized vehicles and light mechs. So it's very situational. And if we're going by our point system, you might only get to take it 1 time, or 2 times
Hey,
max.
Yeah.
This is if
So,
you take a 1, you only
a
get
1?
infantry and light vehicles. If you do it 2 times in 2 points, you get medium size 2 and a light mech. So it got to look at it what it is.
Yep.
If you want to only pay 1 command skill to get this, you get infantry and a light vehicle. Or if you take 2 command skills and you get the medium vehicle and the light mech. You can't. This it's self-explanatory in my book.
Are you saying just
infantry
1 vehicle, 1
and
mech
light.
for taking it 2
doesn't
times?
say and or. Correct. So you
That's
would
what you
get an
can take.
infantry
It
and
says
a
a
light
force.
vehicle. For
Yeah.
1.
So, right, but I would say the force would be you could take a lance of light mechs if you wanted to, or a lance of vehicles, medium size 2, if you took it 2 times.
Oh.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it has a
Right.
limit to the number of units.
Yeah,
But what's
That's
interesting
right.
on this one, this is the first one that
True.
gives you kind of a point value to something. So
Yeah.
if it's a 1 point value command ability, then they have 3 points that you can choose to give you that. This is again why I wish Catalyst would have come out with a system that said,
Hey,
"Here's a point value."
Again,
for
if
the
you
command.
still look at it with the point value, if you choose to have only 1 for the infiltrator, and you get, if I had to put it in perspective, that means you could only have 4 of those units, because that would be out of a company. At that point,
right.
you'd only be able to pick 4. That means you
That
can
would make
have
sense to me.
2 infantry and 2 light vehicles.
And you could, but that 4 could only
I'm
be
sorry.
either. Yeah, I'll shut up. You got it.
And then, like, the second one is, again, you would get either 4 vehicles and 4 light mechs. Again, that reflects a larger size. So, I mean, it seems like second one gives you more. But the third one, if you played it that way, it would give you even more. I mean, you could really make a good sizable force, imagining being able to say, all right, well, here I got Inner Spear, but yeah, I take infiltrators, now I can have Clan Tech. It doesn't specifically say what type of units that you can get. It just says, for example, a Davian force infiltrating a Kurita force may use force units from the general available list of Kurita. I mean, unless you are actively like not campaign, but tournament.
Campaign.
This really doesn't work too much in tournament because one,
Well,
yeah,
it can, because you can pull from the general list too. So if you get your infiltrator squad and you go, okay, what's on the general list for Inner Sphere? I can use any of those. Now, granted, if I play the clan, it's not going to work, but you can still put them in your normal forces. You just don't have that ability. So you kind of use it or lose it that way. You run the gamble who you're playing against across the table. So set it to be not looking at Kurita forces. If you use that general list availability, Inner Sphere general list, what can I put on here? Oh, that sounds good for an infiltrating force. I'm Davia, but I got this general list. I can attack
Absolutely.
Kurita that way.
Yep,
Because
makes
it
sense.
says the general list there. Now, if you're playing campaign scenario against somebody and you know you're going against Kurita, then you might want to put in a Nodashi or whatever else is another Kurita Mecha Dragon, even though Dragon's on the general list. But you get the picture. That's where you can pull the Kurita availability list on it for the campaign play.
Or if you happen to capture one of the opponents.
True.
absolutely.
Through salvage, anything's possible.
Well, this is a neat one. In the movement, immediately after opponents set up their forces, This force may select one of its available special command abilities in place of the movement. If the force chosen to make this swap, it has a -1 initiative modifier for the first 2 turns. Moment. Excuse me, my bad.
It's moment, not movement.
Moment, not movement.
In the moment.
Yeah.
In the moment.
Yeah. Got cross-eyed. I get you.
So, what do you guys think?
What? I would say
-1 initiative for first 2 turns. It depends on the size of the board. Yeah. On a 4 foot by 6 foot table, and you're playing longwise, it's not that valuable unless you get like super fast units or something. Things that can close
You
the
understand
distance,
what it
capture the
implies,
objective,
though.
or get flanked.
But you can take any special ability at any moment at the first turn. That way you have what am I fighting against? Oh, he's got a lot of brawlers.
Exactly.
Let me pick some snipers and pick him off at range before he gets to me. I take
sorry,
in the
I got
moment you go to
cross-eyed.
sniper. Correct?
Yeah, I got
Larry?
cross-eyed. Never mind. I saw the -1 and went back to BattleTech math, and -1 is a good thing,
yeah.
not a bad thing on initiative.
Yeah, you get the negative for the first 2 turns. You get -1 on your initiative roll, but you can analyze your opponent's force and go, he's going to try to brawl with me. I've got some mechs that can do some damage at range. I'm going to choose in the moment and change that to sniper. Now at least 4 of my mechs can get sniper.
Yeah, completely ignore what I said. We're good.
Okay.
So I would say that's a 2,
Yeah.
just because it lets you choose.
It
That's my
gives you, yeah.
that's my
It
opinion.
I agree. It gives advantage to the person using this over
Definitely
what they
the
see
reason
on
I
the
say
battlefield
2
for at least 2
is
turns.
A player can turn and say, well, I got this one and that one, and then imply that I'm taking this, and it's one command ability in their mind. It's just some way you could twist this around in a game. And to be fair, this should be a 2 because it is very powerful as far as being able to tactically to choose to take a different command skill when an opponent puts their stuff on the table. And you go, oh, wait a minute, I could fight this better if I was sniper, or I could fight this because I have X amount of physical attack mechs. I can turn around and have Zoolander come in here and just schwack all these guys. So it's definitely a very powerful command skill. You know what I mean.
Zoolander's going to come in and do a fashion show? Is that what it is?
Look, honestly, guys, I had 2 beers
Zoolander.
and a couple shots at my brother-in-law's house. My apologies tonight, gentlemen. Had a very good day. Yes.
That explains it. Yep.
All right. So here we go. Let's go another one here. Intelligence Specialist. A force can add 5 MHQ special ability to 1 unit in its force. Hey, that might be good
Yes.
for clan forces to actually get their MHQ up.
It
For
depends on
command
how
ability?
you want to look at the
I
table.
don't know.
If you feel like you...
And since it's just 1 unit, I would say a 1.
That 5 points might do you favor on the table. It's not very powerful. Yes.
For battlefield intelligence, yeah, it's not very powerful.
My only question about this one is if it can add the the 5 mobile headquarters 5 ability to 1 unit. If let's say the unit already had a 2, does that make it a 7 or just goes to a 5?
7.
Yeah, you're
It
adding.
goes. Okay,
It's
I like that.
Add.
I mean, I got my Sunder with its 2 C3 Masters in there. That's MHQ 10.
Ouch.
Add this, it's MHQ 15.
Yep.
Do you want to do that? That seems like you're putting all your eggs in one basket at that point. But, it can happen.
It's just one of those things, One of those things.
Yep.
Okay.
So I do want to flip back a little bit in the moment. So there is no limit on the number of units
Correct.
this seems to apply to. So it says basically it's wide
why
open.
it's a
It's your
2.
entire force.
In my book, it's a 2. You can multiply this more than what the rules say. This is one of those ones that you can stretch it as far as the rules will let you stretch. And some players are very keen at playing their game by the ability to stretch a rule very far. So, unfortunately, it's a 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You really have to have a pre-written scenario, in my opinion, for that. Or, if you're doing a tournament thing that they specifically say, command abilities only affect X number of units. So anyway, that's all I got to say on that. So back on to loppers.
Yeah.
If the unit declares a melee attack, again, instead of making any weapon attack, successful hit inflicts 1 extra point of damage and allows 1 additional critical hit roll, even if there is armor remaining. Note, after such a hit, roll 1d6. On a roll of 6, the hatchet has broken, and the mech loses the MEL ability for the rest of the battle. That's interesting. So you got basically improvised hatchets.
A 1.
Well, it's not an improvised hatchet. It's just a lot of the mechs have hatchets, and hatchet's a physical weapon. So if it's got a sword, it breaks the sword.
That's exactly what's covered in classic games. Where if you shot the arm, there was a good chance that you could turn around and hit the hatchet or the samurai sword and destroy it, so it would not be able to be used. This brings that rule into play. I think this one in my book is a 1. Because not every unit, unless you really want it to have nothing but axemen and also had no dash.
I could bring a lot of Korea units with all sorts
to do
of
so
melee
would
weapons.
be very weak on your part. Because
No, of course. The only way I would do that is if I can get in close and personal real quick.
there you go, snipers. He said it right
the
there.
moment sniper.
But those mechs aren't that fast. Yeah, well, yeah.
That's where you got to pay attention.
Yeah. Or maybe, maybe medium range master with sniper.
Yeah.
Plus
Well,
2
here's
it's
my
short.
You got a wooded area. You can literally search the wooded area by, I can't remember the exact rule, but I think it was you lose half of your movement to search an appropriate area.
For a club.
And you can add the ability to have MEL on your unit. So you could potentially have any unit have the melee ability.
Even if they don't have hands.
That's the silly part.
Yep.
But yes.
Because I know in Classic you had to have 2
Warhammer,
hands.
come over and just grab a tree.
I'm going to bite
Just
you with
didn't
my
happen.
teeth mallet.
Yep.
Anyways, are we good with loppers? Pretty straightforward.
Yeah,
Call
pretty
for
I
one.
knew that was coming.
Bradley, I want you to read this one.
Ever since that day,
Yeah, Brad.
you know what? When I read that false flag, I just ran with it. It was one of those, ooh, this looks good, and shoot. Of course, off-map movement. The off-map movement special command ability represents a force superior flanking tactics. This ability cannot be used in any scenario type that would specifically violate these rules, such as by attacking force in a breakthrough scenario or a defending force in a hold the line scenario. Each unit that uses this ability must designate an exiting point on the map edge, and the unit will leave from along those corresponding entry points that will return from. Those designating points must be written down in advance of the actual maneuver, even if only the turn the unit actually began its off movement. Along with these points must be noted the minimum number of turns the off-map unit must remain off the map before re-entering. To find the minimum off-map movement time, determine the total distance traveled between exit and re-entry point along those outer edges of the map that corresponds to the off-movement map position. Then divide this. I hate y'all. Then divide this travel distance by the. I don't ever want to hear you ever complain about this. Let's get back to this. And divide the travel distance by the unit's move value rounded up to the nearest whole number. For example, a unit that moves 6 inches per turn using off-movement map by leaving the western edge map with a designated re-entry point 19 inches further north along the same edge. The controlling player measures 19 inches along the western edge and divide that result by 6. Find that unit that must spend at least 4 turns off map to do this. 19 divided by 6 is 3.6167, rounded up to 4. So you round up, guys. Don't forget that. Units using off movement may remain off map for longer than minimum number of turns the controller player discretes. The player whose units are making use of off movement need not inform the opponent of the exit and re-entry point or the minimum number of each turn the unit must remain off the map until units return. At this point, the written order must be reviewed by the opposing player to ensure the movement was made legal off movement map. If the unit attempts to re-enter early than its minimum number of turns, the unit or return in a different position that it is in designated re-entry, the move can be considered illegal and the units considered destroyed for game purposes. Special excuse for this condition is returning units may arrive at or after its minimum number of turns in a position adjacent to predetermined re-entry points, but only if designated portion is presented occupied by another unit at the time of arrival. Units using off movement are placed on the edge of the map to designated re-entry points for the end phase of their turn arrival. If an unfriendly unit finds itself in base contact or within 1 inch of the re-entry unit divided off map movement, those hostile units may attack the returning unit per rules of surprise attack. Hit by hidden, see page 168. Units using off movement are not counted towards any given side's force or for initiative purposes while they are off map. If all on map forces for a given side are destroyed or retreat while this side still has units moving off map. In this fashion, those off map are considered withdrawn and the scenario ends. I hate y'all. God almighty, can I have a book please for this?
Okay.
I will beat you down
I will never
next time I
bring
see
it
you
up
across
again
the
now.
table. This is just for making me go through this. Go ahead, guys. You got this one. Go ahead.
So what have we learned?
Yeah. This one.
It's a partial force, so
Yeah.
I would say it's
Write
a
it
1.
down.
A 1.
Write it down for crying
All
out
the words
loud.
for 1.
Write it down where it's coming on.
But you won't be able to, like I said, the false flag is a 1-2, so you just gotta take both to have it work. And you gotta do your math, more combat math,
I was already
That
like,
is
oh
more
my
combat
god.
math than I want to
You
do.
have to add in
because you
there
gotta make sure you don't
that
make
you
your turn.
round up, because most players are not going to remember that.
Yeah.
First, you have to have your little card on the side that says where you're moving from and where you're moving to and how many inches and yada yada yada. It's like, okay. Okay.
And you gotta go by your slowest
It is
unit.
what it is. You if the player
Yeah.
is smart. Now, I got one better for
On
you.
Annihilator. It's nice and slow.
Let me put 4 fireballs.
It's going to take 8
out
turns to
there.
get
Doing
there.
This. I could be anywhere in turn 2 on the other side. There you go.
Oh, yeah, me and my peregrines.
I'm
24
in your
inch
backyard.
move,
Turn 2.
no problem.
What are you gonna do?
Yep.
Next.
All right, guys.
Okay.
All right,
All
now
right,
that
I
we've
think-
read that novel.
I'm done.
Who wants to take over Run Combat?
We do this.
Well,
I'm just saying.
you know,
I'm not doing
I
this.
think-
Uh,
Oh, why not?
all right.
This should probably be our last one.
That's what I
We're,
was thinking. Wrap up
approaching
one
almost
more.
a year. An hour.
All right.
Okay. All right.
Who's got it?
I'll read Overrun. Overrun Combat. Whoa, let me take the glasses off here. Okay. Overrun Combat is another example of aggressive tactics in action. Unlike forcing the initiative, this special combat ability is less about capitalizing on the relative amount of damage done to an enemy force and more about taking advantage of even the slightest hesitation among its ranks. Overrun Combat works anytime a force with this ability wins the initiative roll by a margin of 2 points or more. So you have a limit right there. When this occurs, the player divides the number of points by which he has won the initiative roll by 2. rounding all results down to a minimum of 0. This becomes the number of units the player can move and attack with before any other units can act in the current turn. The damage effects of attacks from overrun combat are resolved immediately. For the purpose of...
Yeah, never mind. Keep going.
Okay, tell me.
I thought you were looking at the old version, but no, I got cross-eyed.
Okay, I am looking at the old book, so catch me if I say anything wrong. For the purpose of the rest of the turn's actions, the overrun units fall outside of the normal sequence, leaving the remaining units to alternate according to how many units the overrunning force has left to move after its other units have already acted. For example, if a 12-unit force has the overrun combat ability and wins initiative by roll of 5, 2 of its units can move and attack before any of the opposing force even have a chance to move. 5 divided by 2 is 2.5, rounded down to 2. After these units have attacked, the rest of the turn is resolved as if the overrun capable force was only 10 units, left to alternate with the opponents under the normal turn sequence. The benefits of the overrun combat ability on a turn-by-turn basis. This means that even if the initiative roll success is so high that a number of overrun units would be more than the force actually has, those extra units will not carry over to the next turn. Okay.
Okay, so no difference between your version and the latest version. So that's good.
I'm glad I'm glad.
Definitely a 2. Ron got the worst in on this one. When we play tested disabilities, I had this one and the next one, which is called Rapid Strike, which we'll cover in our next episode. But Overrun was one that I felt allowed me to capitalize on my ability to build my force, to have a good initiative, and eat a roll that already I had out of, say, 36 mechs, already had a grand total of 4 that had combat intuition from a command lance and a support lance. What this ability does, it allows me, when I roll 12 and my modifier gives me a +4, that made me 16, and then Ron rolls a freaking 5, that means I beat him by 11, which means I divide that in half, which means I get to add 5 units to get to act as if they have combat intuition. And it was any unit. And Ron was like, 1 minute I have this, and then all of a sudden I get that, and it was like, boom, 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 boom. I mean, he had Night Star shooting at him. He had freaking Devastator shooting at him. He had every one of my brick throwers hitting a unit twice and dropping it, because usually I would target a unit that was prior hit the turn before. And that reason alone, I looked at Ron and after this, and I got the finger. I was like, wow, dude. I was like, touche, I get it. That was brutal to wear it, dude. And I took the finger with like, okay, I get you. I deserve that shot. But this, immediately after that game, I told him, this should be a 2. You shouldn't be able to use it. It's too powerful.
Yeah, I fully agreed on that.
But in a normal circumstances, could roll a 2 and somebody else could roll a 12. That kind of situation.
Yeah.
But part of the reason why you were able to capitalize on Ron's situation because you were using all of the optional rules that gave you multiple bonuses to your
initiative.
So, how did you get a? Yeah, how did you get
first
that?
Of all,
as a
my battlefield intelligence from my mobile HQ unit having 1 in 4 being recon, that was a +1. Having an MHQ value of 1 for another unit, and then plus having the other one was having BI battlefield
recon.
The MHQ value 1 in 4. So that gave me 3 there, and then I had given my commander 2 times on Tactical Genius, which gave me another one, so they gave me 4. And that's when I was like, you know what? If we do tournaments, it should be limited to 3 because I built a devastating army that I knew that I had a good chance of winning the initiative, either by a margin of, say, at low end, being able to use 2 units, or in that situation where I had capitalized a max of 16 versus 5, I was able to move 5 additional more units. It's very powerful. It does not offer any limitation.
Yeah. Did I even win initiative at all that game? I can't even remember. I don't think I did. I was so defensive that game, but still won it out. Thank God. But jeez.
Just to let you know.
Yeah, that little, like I said, the brick wall of my mechs, man. They held out for me and dodging that shit because you were throwing some stuff, and I get maybe 1 or 2 hits out of the 5.
Yes.
But when it hit, it hurt.
Yeah.
So Bradley had only 1 bonus higher than what I had. I had, I think, a +2, and he had a +3. And I didn't win initiative a single time during that game.
Not loaded dice.
Are you kidding?
Loaded dice.
No, he even changed dice, and it didn't matter.
No. He rolled a 5 at one point in time.
Yep.
But I rolled a 4, and it didn't matter.
Didn't matter. Yeah. Dice gods. Dice gods.
The dice gods hate us.
So let's wrap it up here for episode 2. We've got some news to share with y'all. Bradley, I'm going to turn it over to you to share this news, and we'll go from there.
Our sources to buy our miniatures from, whether it be online shopping from any number of retailers that are providing services online, or you go through Evil Bay or My Bay, excuse me. We have caught the attention of Fortress Games. The owner reached out to me with wanting to become one of our sponsors, and after talking with him and letting him know how we are as a podcast, he agreed that we were a good fit for it to be a part, that he wanted to be a part of, to sponsor us. So we are now officially sponsored by Fortress Games. And I'm telling you folks, you can buy from whoever you want, but if you want to cherry pick units, Fortress Game is where I buy. When I only want to buy, say, I see the new box set and I'm like, well, I only want this mech. Well, let me go on here. I got to buy the whole box. Now I'm stuck with 3 miniatures that I absolutely will not play with, but all I wanted was just this one, and Robert, that owns the company, we talked. He's actually going to be doing the Southern Assault this year, and I'm really looking forward for us getting resources together for us to go to this event. Jose, you can't, but you've already checked your sources, so that Rob did ask me about you, and I was like, well, Jose can't. He was like, oh man, sorry to hear that, but he's like, what about the rest of you? I was like, well, I think Ron and Randall and me are looking like we're going to come up there for that, and he's going to allow us to come up there and do a podcast too, which is phenomenal for us. Yep.
And we just got to figure out the technical side of it.
Yep. If you can connect to Discord by your phones, I can connect on my laptop here, and we can do the same recording we're doing now. You guys will be on your phones, so you should be fine.
Sound quality of my die is bad.
So yeah, he's going to be giving us a little bit of support that we're going to turn out and use what we get from these. We're going to give them out to tournaments that we host, or like events that we go to. We'll hand these out to players that we get and spread like, hey, this is a great place to buy miniatures from if you're looking for individual units. Or he has a lot of those little chips that I use that have the ECM markers, the tag markers, the NARC markers, even the C3 markers. And big games, I like using them. It helps keep the game so easy to track, across the table. Jose used them and found it very easy to follow what he's doing on the table, because it is a lot to play with. And having little markers to put on your mechs, which units have been tagged, which Randall refers to as the finger of death with me. When I tag something, it dies.
Yep. I get a -2 for this. I get a -4 for that. I get a -17 for that.
Oh, is that a critical?
I need
yes,
a
it
2
is.
to hit you. Okay, good. We're good. Oh, and it was 74,000 points of damage.
We're definitely a sponsor.
Okay.
We're going to get all the information from them very shortly. as far as like what he wants us to have on our podcast for him. But yeah, we're glad to have Fortress Games sponsor us for sure. Thank you, Robert, for joining us.
Yeah, definitely appreciate it. And we will pass on whatever benefits we get to the public whenever we get around to doing events.
Yeah, seriously. And I would like to make my own comment about Robert. I've also had nothing but great experiences with ordering from his company. If you have an issue, he'll respond and he'll send you, if they send you the wrong unit, like it was done to me recently, he immediately corrected the issue and sent me another one, no charge. You know, which
I've had similar. Yeah, he's been great to work with and never had a problem with any of his orders that I've gotten.
Yeah, I got the same results out of
never had problems either.
You know, when I bought miniatures from him, you know, I definitely had an issue, something was missing, and he took care of it. I'm glad that there's providers of our game that will do the honorable thing. You know, just make sure, you know, when players buy stuff, before you check out, make sure you got it, because hey, that unit may be coming at the last minute, may not make it, and it's got sold before you checked out. You know, check your order before you check out, so you know exactly what you're paying for and what you're expecting. You know, I really like the fact that these gentlemen that provide to us as a service really do to maintain customers, you know, willingness to help us. So thanks a lot, guys. Definitely. Yes.
Yep, definitely exciting news. All right, guys, let's wrap this thing up.
Absolutely.
So I guess we'll catch you on the next side.
Yeah.
Yep.
Take care, guys.
Have a good night, everyone.
Out.